Okay, welcome everyone. We have Small Business Survival Guide to Cybersecurity. We have James Elliman with Elliman Tech, and we're very excited to welcome him to the SCORE family of presenters. He's a new presenter for us, and we're very excited to be able to present his topic today, and I think you'll get a lot from it. I do expect that we'll have a few more folks joining us in the next few minutes. So we're going to start off by talking about SCORE, just in case you're not familiar. And the focus of SCORE is to share information with the small business community. And we do that in a couple different ways. One is through the material that is on our website. If you haven't been to the score.org website, I strongly encourage you to consider doing that. You're going to find templates that you can download, all kinds of resources, articles, videos you can watch, lots of great information. The other way we share information is through our workshops and webinars. Most of them are online. We do occasionally have in-person workshops as well. And it's very possible that there would be workshops as well in your local area if you are not in the immediate Boston area. So watch for the newsletters, look on the website to find what upcoming events we have. The most important thing that SCORE does, or at least I feel it is sharing information through mentoring. And our mentors are volunteers, and they come to us with a variety of backgrounds and skills to help the small business community. We're working with the folks that are trying to decide if small business is right for them. We're working with those that are in that planning phase and those that are already in business. And people reach out to us for help on any business topic you can imagine, just a variety of different business topics. So a beginning session, if you've never had a mentor before, is going to last around 40-45 minutes. They want to learn about you. They want to know what your goals are, what your challenges are, and then they are going to work with you to come up with a plan. And the plan to meet those goals and overcome those challenges. And the wonderful thing about our SCORE mentors is they do work as a team. So if you're meeting with one mentor, you're meeting with the whole chapter. They're going to reach back to each other for advice. They're going to welcome in other mentors to assist on any topics as your needs change and evolve. It's just a fantastic experience, and I think I strongly encourage you to consider if you haven't done it before. So getting a mentor is very easy. You're just going to go to the score.org website. There's a blue box and you put in your zip code, and that will match you to the chapter that is near you. They'll ask you a couple quick questions to get a little bit of background, and that information is used to help match you to the mentor. So it's very quick and simple for you, and then the chapter will reach out and they'll suggest this person, and that person will reach out with times that they're available to meet. So most meetings are on Zoom, some are phone, and there are a few in-person options as well, if that is something you desire. So for today, we are going to use the Q&A on the Zoom bar, please. That is to submit questions for our presenter today. And we will read out those questions at the end and get to as many as we can. So if you have a question for our presenter, put it into the Q&A. It helps me not lose track of the questions, because sometimes chat can get start scrolling through, and I just don't want any questions to be lost. So we are also recording, and we will be posting that to the website within 24 to 48 hours so that you can watch it again if you have anything, if there's anything you missed. As you can see from that graphic, you're going to go to the score.org/Boston website. And on the blue bar under the local workshops, you're going to find previously recorded webinar, and it'll be listed first there for at least until the next webinar. But so that's where that information is held. So I'm going to go ahead and pull down my share screen, and I'm going to turn it over to James and let him introduce himself and talk to us about cybersecurity.
Absolutely. This is my favorite part of the day. I get to talk about cybersecurity. I get a little excited about it. Okay, so Oh, welcome to Small Business Survival Guide to Cybersecurity. Hey, my name is James from Elliman Technologies. And let's just jump right into it. I don't want to waste anyone's time. So a little background about me. My name is James Elliman, and I have a degree in computer science from Ohio Wesleyan University. I started Elliman Technologies in 2019, just out of graduating college, and I had one goal. Well, I wanted to simplify IT. I got tired of all the people that sat there asking me questions like, hey, I have this question about tech. I have this question about tech. I have this question about tech. And it's a confusing world out there. And so I wanted to build a business that simplified it for businesses. And so why is cybersecurity so important? And 82% of cyber attacks are against businesses of less than 100 employees. 75% of small to medium businesses could not continue to operate if they were hit with some form of ransomware. 47% of businesses with fewer than 50 employees have no IT budget, but they're just going by things when they need to happen. And 53% of small to medium businesses experience multiple data breaches without ever knowing. And that's 53% of businesses is releasing information onto the web that they don't know about. And we're going to get into why that's important. So what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the art of protecting networks, devices, and data from unauthorized access or criminal use, and the practice of ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and available information. So what are we going to be discussing today? We're going to talk about threat awareness, understanding the different cyber threats out there, or understanding data protection and how it pertains to you from both a legal side, a customer relationship side, and what to protect. We're going to talk about the good and bad of software, or why it's good, why it's bad, what to look for, or understanding cyber insurance as well. Everyone thinks that general liability takes care of everything. Nope, cyber or insurance is its own thing. And understanding does your business need it, and what to look for. We talk a little bit about compliance, and how to be compliant, what to look for in compliance, and how to understand and when they say, hey, are you compliant? Network security as a whole, we don't look at just a workstation and antivirus anymore, or we're looking at the network as a whole, your whole organization, and third parties and how they're a risk to your business. So, little disclaimer, no cybersecurity measures are 100% effective. Cybersecurity is a constantly changing world. All the technology in general is constantly changing and is dynamic. So be aware of that. It's not a set it and forget it. It should be an active part of your business at all times. So first let's jump into threat awareness. Now identifying a cyber attack drastically cuts down on the downtime and the effectiveness of a cyber attack. If recognizing a phishing email, for example, and deleting it first, or clicking on it and ignoring the symptoms for days and even weeks, can have drastic different impacts. Hacks that can go from 2 minutes worth of downtime or zero to 2 days, 20 days for forensic experts to go through the data and clean it up. So what to look for in cyber attacks? First one is a distributed denial of service attack, otherwise known as DDoS, and this is where botnets that's essentially attack a service. They're not looking to steal data or corrupt it or anything that nature, or they're looking to make it unaccessible. Well, so they're just peppering it with attacks. So the actual users that need it can't get to it. Second is ransomware. So ransomware and malware are softwares that get injected into a computer or server, and they're manipulating files, usually to encrypt them, but sometimes to also transfer them to an offsite solution, and that hackers or cyber criminals can work with. phishing emails that I'm sure most of you are familiar with, that it is all of those emails about, oh, hey, do this, do that, do this. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to collect personal information. They're trying to find that weak link. I think it's usually part of more of a social engineering attack where they're making phone calls to the business, as they're sending emails. They're looking to just make an entry into the business, is where then they can pivot inside to do more damage. Spoofing is where they're going to represent themselves as a trusted source. So whether that's a colleague, a vendor, or a contractor, or even a customer, or it's a great way for them to get inside your business. Man in the middle attacks are what I like to equate to as the wiretaps of the 21st century. It's the idea of seeing the information go back and forth, but not actually doing anything with the information, just taking it in. And that can be used for many reasons down the road, looking for password or it's sensitive information and that kind of thing. So data protection, and data protection is extremely important. And why do we need to protect data? What is sensitive data? So the first thing is let's identify what is sensitive information that we need to discuss. The first is credit cards, card information, financial information, and medical records, personal information, and industry secrets and trade secrets, and legal information. And so all that sensitive information you have on your customers, your clients, leads, that's all information and that you should be keeping safe. Now, why do we need to protect that information? And consumer trust is one of the biggest ones that I personally feel is important, because if you really share all a customer's financial information to the World Wide Web, they're not going to be super thrilled about it, and they're not going to have trust in your business afterwards. And if you lost if your entire customer base has that same problem, it's going to do a lot of damage to your reputation. And not to mention the customer damage is consumer damage as well, of repairing credit scores or all of that, released medical records, legal information, and all of those things. There are also legal requirements to data protection, data preservation as well. So for example, HIPAA requires 7 years of paper records or 20 years of digital records. And that's important in for someone in the healthcare world, they need to protect that. Next is software. So software is something that everyone's so gung-ho about. Software is a great solution to improving business. It is, whether it's from a productivity standpoint, a reliability standpoint, or a security standpoint. It can put your business ahead of the industry in so many ways. It can help you do so many things for your employees, for your customers, everything. But there are some downsides to it as well. Well, software is only as great as the companies that are developing it. An outdated software is an easy attack vector for cyber criminals. And a great example of that is there was a bookkeeping software that came out right about 4 or 5 years ago called Solar, and it was marketed as the replacement to QuickBooks. It had a lot of great advanced features to it, a payment portal, old bank connections, reconciliations, and a lot of great things to it. But it was rushed to the market and it had no security features. And a few months into its launch and customer usage, they learned that any anonymous user could look at the credit card information and the bank information and of people using this product. And that caused some big security concerns for a lot of customers. So be aware of who you buy your software from, how it's implemented, and use that to protect your business. So next is cyber insurance. So why do you need cyber insurance? And well, cyber insurance covers a lot of things, and a lot of people say to me when I sit down with them, I have general liability or I have business insurance. I don't need that. Well, general liability and business insurance usually cover or bodily harm, property damage, and other items along those lines. Whereas cyber insurance covers legal fees, notifying customers about data breaches, restoring personal identities of affected customers, recovering compromised data, repairing damaged computer systems, along with hiring forensic technicians to reverse engineer or some cyber attacks as well, to recover data. A lot of times when when a company gets hit with ransomware, or all their data is encrypted, and not only are we restoring from backups, but we're also enlisted in forensics professionals to reverse engineer or a lot of that as well. So we can have the best idea of what happened. Next is compliance. Compliance is a big subject, and there's a lot that happens in it. But what is compliance? Well, we have HIPAA for our healthcare. We have SOC for the financial world. Oh, we have PCI for anyone that processes credit cards, and we have NIST for our government and contractors. Now, that's very broad, and there's a lot that's we could do whole courses on each one of those topics. But there's some basic pieces in there that I think are important. And the first is, don't just check the boxes. It is a lot of companies will come in and with what they call as compliance scorecards. And it's basically just a yes or no sheet to, do you have this? Do you not have this? And it's not really the right way to look at things. Businesses are they're growing entities, they're organizations, and as they move, they grow, they do things. Whereas these scorecards are that so many people will think of when they think of compliance. They're the basic level. They're a general overview. They're not a one size fits all. And you need to take that basic protection and build on that to cover your whole organization. And on that topic, I like to call it do what's right for your business. It's so much compliance can be done with software configurations, staff training, and just general business organization. And you don't need to go out and just buy more products and more software to complicate your business, because then you're just adding on to compliance. So think simple and think about your business as a whole when you think of compliance. Network security. Now, years ago, even back in 2019, when I was in college, everyone would talk about just the security on their laptops, or their desktops, and say, "Hey, I have antivirus," and that's good enough. Well, sadly, the technology world has changed quite a bit. Security doesn't stop at your workstations, and it's more of a focus on protecting your entire network, and stopping unwanted devices from connecting to your network. Or things like firewalls have to be looked at more closely. Servers, wireless access points. Wi-Fi is such an important thing to so many customers, and the Wi-Fi is important to so many devices as well. But Wi-Fi is also a great way for anyone to access your network too. Guest Wi-Fi, where I can walk in with a phone and people can sit there and say, "Oh, hey, I have access to their servers from here." Or a nefarious actor or a cyber criminal that has a laptop that's sitting at a coffee station across the street can connect to that Wi-Fi too. So be aware of that. Things like printers and phones, while you might see them as just generic devices, those can be taken over from outside entities. And that gives them an entry point into your network to access things like your servers, your workstations, and there's another network infrastructure. Lastly, in that networking thought is your cloud services as well. Also consider your line of business apps such as QuickBooks or billing platforms, booking platforms, any software you use for CAD in an engineering firm, or case management software if you're in a legal firm, all of those softwares as well are part of your network. Just like how everyone that works in your business is part of your organization. Every device in your business is part of your network, and making sure they're all working securely together. Next, I want to talk a little bit about incident response plans. So what do you do if you got hit with a cybersecurity incident? How do you communicate? Who's in charge? And don't rely on your IT. And focus on what's important. And what do I mean by that? If you do happen to have a cybersecurity incident, and then the first thing you want to do is focus on primary roles of communication. If you have a cybersecurity incident and you lose the ability to send emails, or you lose your phone system, how do you communicate with the rest of your staff on the next steps? How are you communicating with your clients? Things like that. And also, don't just wait for your IT team. They are typically busy in minimizing the threat, but there's other things that the rest of the business can do to keep going and keep moving forward, and keep servicing customers. So a great example of that would be first identifying a chain of command. And so while IT is focused on minimizing the incident, and what's everyone else in the company doing? Is the CEO and say a call center, or are they finding the correct information and to be able to still service its customers and keep customer relations intact? Fact is, are the people in the field still able to process transactions and continue on to service his clients? Things like that. Next is communication. Whether you're lose email, so then you're relying on texting and phone calls, or if you know that your phones are down, maybe you set up a Zoom meeting for everyone company-wide. Whatever it needs to be, make sure you have a backup form of communication ready in regards to a cybersecurity incident. Next, also defining roles and responsibilities. It's kind of like having a fire drill back in school, where you had a teacher who was leading, and you had a hall monitors and everything else. Everyone had a responsibility. The same thing should happen in your business in response to an incident. And you should have people responsible for customer relations. You should have people responsible for helping with IT, and others helping with just general organization. And everyone having a role makes the process as very much streamlined. And you can go from just IT trying to do something, and it can take 2 weeks, to everyone working together, and maybe you're only down for 2 or 3 days, and your customers don't even know. Also, building those relationships, responsibilities, that chain of command, and it's all really important. And it's something that most businesses don't think about until it happens. Next is third-party vendors. Third-party vendors are an extremely touchy subject for a lot of businesses, because we love them to death. They're going to help us in so many ways. They're so great. They have a lot of expertise, but at the same time, they are a high risk for incidents, and you're only as secure as your weakest link. So cyber criminals are really looking for just one link to get into a business, whether it was back in the networks where they can get into a phone, or through the Wi-Fi, or in this case, a third-party vendor. Or say, for example, you have a graphic designer that has an infected laptop, and they go and they email you the graphic designs for an upcoming project, and you download those. Well, that now has traversed from the infected graphic designer into your business as well. And you need to be aware of that, because now that cyber criminal has access to your business, they can then move from your laptop to your servers. Might say, okay, but maybe my marketing department doesn't have access to my financials. Well, but once they're in, they can move from that person in marketing to that person in accounting, And it's very easy to move around once you get to one trusted piece of that link, one part of that chain. That's what I got. So, oh, that's me. Hopefully that was nice and simple, all easy to digest. Feel free to shoot me an email. All my email, my phone number are at the bottom here. And yeah, I
Can we
see.
open up to some questions? Would that work?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you talk about the man in the middle attacks? Give a little bit more
Absolutely.
information about that.
So absolutely. So man in the middle attacks are very much like a wiretap back in the movies where or they would sit there and listen into two phone calls. Also, man in the middle attacks are just the digital version of that. Typically, they're seeing network traffic going back and forth, or email traffic going back and forth, or they can watch emails, they can listen to just see which websites you're going to, which data you're entering into websites. They can see it, but they're not acting upon it. And usually they're using that data later on for other things, whether they're trying to pull passwords out to access website later.
What programs for security would you recommend if you are a single business owner of, like, let's say a hair salon?
So
what things should you focus on?
you should definitely focus on antivirus and having a good backup. Those are the two things. Now, picking the application that's best for you is very much an important thing, because it's not all softwares are one size fits all. We sell, personally, I sell 7 different antiviruses tools to multiple different companies. And that's because there's not one product that fits everyone's application. And you have to pick things that fit best for you. And then there's also some devices that or some softwares that are good for residential and more personal laptops, and then there's full enterprise solutions. So do your research and talk to a professional, whether it's local to you or just trusted to you.
We sell to the Department of Defense. They want their vendors to migrate to the cyber maturity model certification. Do you have any recommendations on doing this process, or vendors? What sort of things, what kind of questions should they be asking?
Ooh, there's a lot to that, and that was a big change. And I know I have a lot of friends in that industry that do a lot of Department of Defense and government contracting IT, and there's a lot to it. And I'm definitely not an expert. There are some out there, and I'd be happy to make some recommendations offline, but I don't think this is the place for that.
Okay. What are the legal requirements for holding customer records?
It completely depends on the industry. So, for example, all HIPAA requires 7 years of data if it's a paper record, but in Massachusetts, it's 20 years of holding data if it's digital. That's something I did not know until recently. We had a customer that needed that information. And so, check with your industry. Lawyers are a good start, or we've talked to some lawyers about some industries we didn't know about. But also talk to IT professionals that service your industry. For example, we've done a lot of work with financial services, and I know a lot of them keep the records for about 5 years. So it depends on your industry. It's not a one size fits all.
Okay. How would you know if you're a victim of a man in the middle attack?
You don't. For the most part, you don't. Where the way you'll find out about it usually is from the services you were just accessing are still showing active access. As for example, a good time I've seen this is clients go and they access their bank's records, and they're going in and they're doing a wire transfer too, but then they notice a couple hours later they're getting an email from their bank saying, hey, we just noticed a couple more wire transfers went through. Ooh, it's because that man in the middle attack was sitting there and they took in those passwords and other information and then went back to that website and logged back in.
Can you
So
talk? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, so that's where things like multi-factor authentication and those other security tools that you'll see when you set up accounts really come into play to stop those man in the middle attacks.
Can you talk about cloud backups for a few minutes and what to look for in terms of security to make sure you're using the right cloud backup service?
Absolutely. Hey, so there's a lot of great cloud backup services is even local to us being in Boston. So Carbonite 8 is located right in Boston, and shout out to them. They have been a huge player in the cybersecurity space. They focus more on very small businesses, is in a lot of residential customers as well. Oh, but you want to look for a couple things. Ones that encrypt your data before it leaves your device. So you don't want just all your files stored in a bucket. If you want to think about it, if you want to think about a file cabinet that gets transferred to another business and that's where they safeguard it. But those files are still files and people can still read them. Whereas locking them up into a safe and then shipping them off where they can't be seen and no one can see them is what you're really looking for. Or so cloud backups that are encrypting your information before it's moved off your computer. Or you also want to look at the longevity of how long they're keeping that data is important. So you don't want a cloud backup provider that maybe just makes one copy and they keep it for 7 days and then they make another copy and they keep that for 7 days. Is you want something that maybe holds 9 months worth of records, because that gets back to your data protection and how to keep your data secure. But also, if you were to have a cyber incident, and are you able to back up? Are you able to restore from backups, or are those backups infected? So making sure you're following those proper data protection things for your industry.
Are Macs more secure against cyber attack?
They are not. Oh, that is such a misinformation that people think. A lot of people think that Macs are more secure and Macs don't get viruses. The reason they think that is Macs are not the majority of the market. Right now, for the personal computing world, over 92% of business computers are Windows. So the people that are cyber criminals are putting their effort into the largest market share. Just like we would as a business, as we want to appeal to a large audience so we can sell our product. These cyber criminals are trying to go after the largest market share. So, Macs aren't any more secure. They're just not attacked as often. And so we do still see attacks on them. It just doesn't happen as often.
Sorry, I lost okay. How important is the source code security, making sure there's no security flaws in the source code if you're a software business?
So that's a huge thing. So the source code is how a program is written and making that. And a lot of companies, there's lots of audits and things to make sure that source code is error free. There's no security flaw, otherwise known as bugs. They're checking to make sure all of that information and all these programs act as they should. Now, on the other side of that source code can be modified right after the fact. And that's what a lot of IT professionals will talk about, making sure you download your files from trusted sources, because as a cyber criminal can put up a free version of, say, Adobe Acrobat. And people download that installation of Adobe Acrobat. And while Adobe Acrobat might work, they're also installing other or malware or and other viruses and things onto the device as well. And so that can cause issues.
Do you recommend going through the extra effort to create immutable backups for extra protection against ransomware?
Say it again, you broke up there just a little bit.
Sure. Do you recommend going through the extra effort to create immutable backups for extra protection against ransomware? You know, that are unchangeable over time, that different kinds of backups?
Yes. So, in backups, we have a rule called 3-2-1, which means you want 3 copies of your data, 2 copies on site, and one copy offsite. But that also goes into the longevity as well. We recommend that you have 3 full copies of your data from different time periods. It's so you have an idea of where and where things change. So if something were to happen, and you can follow that progress, especially if you have a cyber incident, and forensics teams love that information because it helps them backtrack. Right.
1 second, I want to ask somebody to expand their question a little
Yeah,
bit more. So
absolutely.
yeah, okay. What is it? What type of attack is it called when you get the fake email, but it looks like it's from somebody that's a coworker, but it's not?
That is it can be either one of a phishing email where it's more of a social engineering, or spoofing, and where you're making it look like you're a coworker. Depending on how it is, if it's more of a social engineering style attack where they're making phone calls or representing themselves with like a new email address, or if they're trying to make it look like they have the same email address as your coworker.
Okay. This question's been submitted twice, so I'm not 100%. It feels like there might be more to the question, but what tools for network security is exactly what it says. So I'm wondering if he means what types of tools should he consider for network security?
So it's a very broad question, so I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. Network security is a lot of pieces because your network is made up of a lot of pieces. You have workstations, you have servers, you have phones, you have printers, you have network switches, firewall, those wireless access points. There's a lot of pieces involved there. And you want to find tools that are protecting each piece. So you want to find an antivirus that's for your laptop, up in your servers. You may want to find a network monitoring solution, and such as Zabbix, to keep an eye on what's happening on your network, or how the switch is, what devices are connected, and all of that. So you want to make sure you have a solution for each piece, instead of there's no just one software that will look at everything.
Can you talk about the different storage types for data backups? Again?
Absolutely. Hey, so you have a couple of pieces. Is you have what you have on site, right? Which is that can be either a NAS or an external hard drive. There's a lot of different ways of doing that. There's also cloud backups, which are you can go through Acronis, you can go through Carbonite. Right? There's a lot of big vendors out there that do that, and there's also you can also do dedicated data center space as well. For clients that do have higher security needs or have larger amounts of data, dedicated data center space can be a cheaper and more secure option, and it does have a lot more labor involved in it though. So it's a cost versus benefits.
All right. I think somebody just submitted anonymous, but I think it's attached to another submitted question. So give me a second to
Okay.
try and link these together. Yeah, when you submit anonymously, I can't tell which questions go together. So it makes it a little bit more complicated. I think it's the one that asked about the bookkeeping company.
Was it,
Um,
I'm
okay,
moving
so
to,
she's moving to transitioning to Windows 12 Pro bookkeeping company. And then I think this is the one that goes together. I'm curious on what are some preliminary steps you could take to encrypt my data as they make that move, it sounds like.
absolutely. Hey, so, oh, moving to Windows 11 is a very simplified process now. Microsoft has a entire or step-by-step migration and plan that you can follow almost to a T. And it'll encrypt your data into the new BitLocker or storage solution. But you can also add external backups and data management as well, such as a network attached storage, which is keeping your data encrypted. And it depends on your business, how big your business is if you're a sole proprietor and you're by yourself, of having all your data on your device and maybe a network attached storage as well. As a secondary backup could be great. And making those work together.
Okay.
But Microsoft has a whole plan for you, who if you just you can Google it or reach out to an IT professional to help you with that. It's no more than an hour.
Oh, my company sometimes has to make purchases for clients on the client's credit card, like on Amazon. What would you recommend for securely storing their credit card information so certain people can access the card information as needed?
So there are actually some, be careful with this. I'm going to preface this. So there are a lot of laws in regards to credit card processing that you are definitely going to want to be careful of when in regards to using your customer's credit card information and on other or websites. So just be careful of that at as a starting point. Second, and there are a lot of password managers that also will offer two-factor authentication and storage have a solution for storing credit card information in that portal as well. Companies like Bitwarden, LastPass, as they have a credit card information field that you can put your client's credit card information in if needed.
Are there any simple DDoS tools?
Uh, yes, sort of. And so, solutions such as Zabbix will monitor our usage of, say, an interface, and that's a great way to check one device, but you do have to set it up for every device. It won't just monitor all your services. So you'd have to build out monitoring for each firewall, each network switch, so on and so forth. And when you see that utilization spike, like you would know that you're either or a very productive business that day, or you have something else going on.
Well, James, here's the question that you get to be a square mentor. What skills are most in demand for cybersecurity professionals? And are there any trends in the field that you're excited about?
Uh, Definitely skills is problem solving and thinking on your feet. So when you walk into a lot of these cybersecurity incidents or preparing people, well, you don't know what you're walking into. It's kind of like walking a first responder walking into a building on fire, or the police or the paramedics showing up to a 911 call. You don't know what you're going to show up to. You just have the tools that you have access to, and the knowledge in your head. So being able to think on your feet and using the information and you have of is really important and to being productive in the technical space. And then what was the second question there?
Trends that you're excited about?
Oh,
in the
trends I'm
field?
excited about. Oh, there's so many. There are so many. Yeah, my probably my personal favorite is how the antivirus companies, especially some of the larger ones, have started to team up together. A lot of these cyber firms have stopped acting independently and saying, "Oh, we saw this, and we're going to protect against this," but this person didn't see this and it's lacking ink for that product. They're actually starting to work together or more and more or as a team, because what one person sees versus what another company sees can be two independent things. And so having them work together or more and more has really been an awesome way for us to help small businesses as well. It's become a lot of communication in between what used to be competitors. They're still competitors, but they're sharing a lot out of the background information. And that's really great that they've broken a lot of those barriers.
Oh, somebody's asking about the DDoS tools that you mentioned. Maybe they could email you and you
Yeah,
could,
absolutely.
yeah,
They can email me and I'll get back to them.
okay. I have a question about SQL security tools.
Ooh. I don't know if I have any I would recommend right off, just off that question. I think I want to look into what they were looking for a little more.
And somebody's asking how you become a man in the middle.
There are actual classes about learning all about hacking and cybersecurity, so you know what to look for. And that there are jobs that pay you a lot of money to learn how to hack into things so developers can fix it. So go online and this is a great opportunity to learn a new skill. But I'm not going to teach you that today.
No, no. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. James, thank you so much. I know I learned a lot. I know that everyone else with all the questions they asked has learned a lot. And hopefully we can run this presentation again in the future or something similar. So thanks everyone for joining us, and have a great rest of your day.